Hey there, comic book fans, and the cricket that's in the house behind me. So if you hear a cricket, that's what it is. I'm back from the comic shop this week with 7 new comics. Pretty good week. Glad it's not another 9, 10, or 11 week comic week though, because they're getting expensive. I mean, this was actually a pretty expensive 7 comics because there was no $2.99 books in it. They were all $3.99 books. But anyway, here's Britannia, number 2. I don't know which cover I got. One of them or another. Who does that? I can't read that signature. Let's see if the UPC gives us a clue. I guess this is the 211. That means this is the first cover. Issue 2, cover number 1, first printing. That's what 211 means. But anyway, I like Britannia number 1. Peter Milligan, Juan Jose Rip, Jordi Belair. It was kind of, I'd heard it was supposed to be like a ancient Roman detective story, but it's really more like a supernatural, mystical story. But this is the Valiant book you can read without knowing anything about the Valiant universe because it's self-contained. Last issue all took place in Rome, and now our Roman detective guy, who really hasn't done much detecting yet, it has to go up to the Roman province of Britain. So he's got to go up there and figure out some Celtic, mystical, druid thing that's going on. Like I said, I enjoyed the first issue. I like the format a lot. I like the cardstock covers. Last issue gave us a lot of good historical information on the Vestal Virgins who starred in it. Let's see if there's articles in this one. They gave us a lot of... Oh, there we go. The Roman Centurion. So I like this back matter because I'm a history fan. And I like, those 4 pages of back matter on the historical context, which is something I enjoy. So, like I said, I very much like this. It's a $3.99 book, but it gives you a nice thick cardstock cover and lots of back matter instead of ads and thin comics. So, I wish all comics were in this format, but only the special format Valiant ones are. So, give it a look. Next, we have Jupiter's Legacy, issue number 4. Here's the head bad guy who used to be the head good guy in this universe. He's kind of found himself sucked into this world of trying to fix the whole world, and now he's a bad guy doing it. But last issue was a lot of fun. I really love the Frank Quitely artwork, and Mark Millar's doing this is this guy's missing father who showed up last issue. There's not a lot sort of new, and there's not really surprises in Jupiter's Legacy, but it's a great superhero book because it's executed so well. I mean, you can kind of see what's coming, but it's done so well that it doesn't matter. And Mark Millar had a new comic out this week, Reborn, with Greg Capullo artwork, and I passed on that one just because the Greg Capullo artwork didn't thrill me. Generally, I like Greg Capullo's artwork, but I looked through Reborn and went, it just, I don't know, just didn't seem very interesting for whatever reason. But maybe I'll hear how that is from other people, but Jupiter's Legacy, some great Mark Millar, Frank Quitely stuff, so give this one a look. And now we have Southern Cross, issue number 8. Issue number 7 was the first one back from its hiatus, and now we got a new story arc going, and I liked it a lot. We changed I really liked the first story about the Southern Cross because it very much captured the feeling of being on a spaceship. I thought that was the best thing about it, and now we've shifted to the spaceship has disappeared, and the space colony that was relying on its cargo is now worried about it and trying to find it, and now we got life on a space colony, and it's not great. It's really sort of like a giant oil rig. They're out there. They're out there getting minerals and natural resources, I guess, for Earth and wherever, and it's not fun to live there, but they got a lot of people living and working there. And who you thought was going to be the main character last issue, I think died at the end of the issue, and now maybe this woman is going to be our lead character on the space. Only one person from the Southern Cross made it this guy right here, I think it was, onto this space colony wherever they are. And so he's kind of the center of attention now as they try to figure out what the heck happened to the Southern Cross. This is one, I enjoyed the first story arc a lot. I'm enjoying this story arc a lot. If you like kind of just like I said, this to me is not necessarily about the plot. The art is good. There's some good storytelling in the art, but it really captures, the feeling of being out there in space to me. So that's its strength. Monstrous, Marjorie Liu, Sana Takeda is back from its hiatus. What issue is this? Issue 7. And I don't remember how the story ended. I think they reached a safe haven, or at least they're... Jeez, I can't even remember. Where's our lead character, Monstrous? I remember the basic gist of the story, but the specific of our ending of that first story, I don't remember. But there's our lead character, Monstrous. She has this giant monster inside her who can kill people, and she's in the middle of this human magical people war. And this piece of a face mask is some sort of magic relic that everybody fears and wants. And that's her little... that's our little magical creature friend who are kind of at war with the humans, but there's a cold war going on now between them. And there's people who don't want the cold war, they want a hot war, there's people who want peace. And she's trying to control herself through all it and not turn into a monster. It's been a good story so far. I like the first story arc. I'm sure I'll like this second one. That cricket is driving me crazy. It won't stop. I think it's in a wall. But anyway, Lazarus issue number 25. This story arc has been all action. All the Cold War and détente that's been going on. This one was replaced by a hot war last story arc. Where Forever, our main Lazarus, got locked out of action this last story arc. So now this is the rest of her family as the war continues. They're on all sorts of secret missions and not so secret missions and fighting and death of other family heads and stuff like that going on, and like all the political intrigue of the first what would that be, 17, 18 issues has turned into a shooting war these last 7, 8 issues. So shooting war Lazarus has been pretty good. If you like action, this and the last arc would be the arcs for you. It's been good. How can you not like Lazarus? And here comes Kill or Be Killed, issue number 3. Issue number 2, we had our first. This is our main character who's either being compelled by a demon or is crazy to have to kill. There he is. To have to kill one bad person a month. There's the girl he wants to get with, who just wants to be a friend, and now he doesn't care about getting with her because he's got a demon on his back who may or may not be real. But last issue we got, he had his first bad person that he killed. There's the first bad person. I guess he's flashing back to him. And we'll, like I said, this is one of those Portchester, man, slain. Yeah, it was Portchester, New York, I think he was killed in. I went to college over near there. It's across the river from me. But I like all the Brubaker and Phillips stuff, and it'll be interesting to see where this one goes, because this is supposed to be an ongoing rather than something like Fatale or The Fade Out, which both he had endings for in mind when he started. This is some so this story can evolve and go places that are unexpected as of now. So that means I don't know what to expect. But first 2 issues were good. I hope there's lots of unexpected in it, and I enjoy the ride. And our final issue for the week is Kaiju Max, Season 2, issue number 5. I believe this is the 5th issue of Kaiju Max that I've gotten in just over a month since I got issue 1. Then they ordered me 2 and 3, and 4 came in last nearly at the same time. So it's been good. I'm really enjoying Kaiju Max. I think there's only 5 and 6 in Season 2. But I have to say it's become one of my favorite comics. Thanks to Sleepy Reader reading season number 1, I decided to check out season number 2. And like I said, it's one of the most human comics out there. Despite having these giant monsters and robots, they're all just kind of live their life and get on with their jobs. And giant monsters just kind of want to live, but they're giant monsters, and sometimes they get out of control, and they have trouble getting along with the humans, and the humans have to make these giant robots and regular-sized robots to control the giant monsters, and they just don't want to kill every monster they get in contact with and get into long fights, so they have like prisons for them, and which is Kaiju Max. That's where the title comes from. But look, it's an interesting book because it's the trials and tribulations and problems of monsters and giant robot guys. So, but it's not. But it's it's done like they're all human living creatures. So it's good stuff, Kaiju Max, and it's interesting. Having read 4 issues in a short period of time, that I've kind of overloaded on Kaiju, or loaded up. I'm not overloaded because I want more. Loaded up on some Kaiju Max. Can't wait to read this issue. And finally, we'll give you a look at our background artwork. I still haven't made, and I've been, like I said last week, I've been wanting to make some more art videos showing off art, but I haven't quite figured out how, besides just pointing to them, but that may be what I end up doing. But I did a couple more painted ladies, except this time I changed up my style and made it more cartoony. My other painted ladies were a little more realistic, and they were photo-referenced. These ones are not. They're kind of big-eyed, big-headed, op art cartoons. I also, put a couple of these up on eBay if anyone wants to buy one, along with other stuff. I'll leave a link below since I'm trying to get some stuff out there and sell it, but I'll leave my eBay and Etsy links below. But there's just a couple more, some recent op art painted ladies stuff. So you guys all have a good week out there.